Ever seen someone with X-ray vision? Like they can literally see right through you? Or how about a person who hasn't eaten a single bite for 76 years? Maybe you've heard of the guy who could munch down an entire airplane, or the one who could hold his breath underwater for 22 minutes like it's nothing. I bet these stories sound too wild to be true. Well, prepare to have your mind blown. Today we'll show you 15 humans with incredible superpowers. These individuals possess abilities that challenge the limits of what we consider possible. From completing a 350-mile run without a break to experiencing life without sleep for decades, these stories are sure to amaze and inspire. And just when you think you've heard it all, wait till you hear about Muhammad Ali. No, not the boxer, but the man whose eyes shift colors with his wardrobe. So, hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. Number 1. Michael Lotito, the Human Shredder. Meet Michael Lotito, also known as Monsieur Mangtout, which means Mr. Eat-All in French. And oh boy, did he live up to that name. Michael wasn't interested in your everyday food. Nope, he had a taste for the inedible. We're talking metal, glass, rubber, you name it, he ate it. It's like his stomach was made of iron instead of flesh. But here's where it gets wild. Michael's favorite snack was an entire airplane. Yes, you read that right, an entire airplane. He didn't munch it down in one sitting, though. Instead, he spread it out over 2 years. From 1978 to 1980, bit by bit, he ate the metal beast until it was all gone. You might be wondering, how did he not get sick? Well, it turns out Michael had a condition called pica, which made him crave non-food items. But even among pica sufferers, Michael was a superhero. His stomach lining was twice as thick as the average person, and his digestive acids could break down metals. Despite eating things that would send anyone else to the emergency room, Michael lived to the ripe age of 57. Number 2. Stig Severinsen, the man who doesn't breathe. Imagine swimming underwater for 22 minutes without taking a breath. Stig Severinsen did just that. It's like he has gills instead of lungs. Stig, also known as the man who doesn't breathe, is basically a fish in human form. But instead of swimming around aimlessly, he decided to set some mind-blowing records. So how did he do it? It's not magic, it's science and a bit of superhuman willpower. Stig is a master of breathing techniques and meditation. He got this trick where he super oxygenates his blood by taking deep breaths before diving in. But it's not just about packing in the air. Stig has trained his body to use oxygen super efficiently, like a hybrid car but for breathing. Beyond just holding his breath, Stig has set records that boggle the mind. He's also a Guinness World Record holder. He swum under ice for an extended distance and dove to incredible depths, all on a single lungful of air. So next time you're holding your breath for fun, remember Stig Severinsen. 3. Prahlad Jani, the no-eat, no-drink wonder. Meet Prahlad Jani, also known as Mataji, the man who claims to have skipped not just breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but all meals, and not just for a day or a week or even a year. Try 76 years. Yeah, you heard that right. While most of us can't go a few hours without dreaming about our next snack, Prahlad Jani said he hasn't eaten or drunk anything since he was a young lad. Prahlad Jani credits his unbelievable feat to a goddess whom he claims gave him a special tonic through a hole in his palate. Sounds like something straight out of a comic book, right? Scientists and doctors were scratching their heads, so they decided to put Prahlad to the test. Not once, but twice, they kept him under strict surveillance, where they watched him day and night. And guess what? He didn't eat. He didn't drink. Yet he remained healthy, which left everyone puzzled. Whether it's true or not, he lived to 91, which is pretty impressive. 4. Natasha Demkina, the girl with X-ray vision. Ever seen someone who can look right through you? Natasha Demkina can. She got what we might call X-ray eyes. Now, before you jump to conclusions, she's not walking around zapping people with gamma rays. Instead, Natasha claims she can see inside humans and spot their medical issues. How did she come across this incredible ability? Natasha says it just popped up one day when she was a kid. While most of us were trying to master the art of tying our shoes, she was seeing things in a way no one else could. The world took notice and scientists put her to the test. Natasha underwent numerous tests where she had to see into volunteers and describe what she found. Sometimes she was spot on, identifying specific injuries and conditions, and other times the results were a mixed bag. It left people scratching their heads. Was it real or was it just extraordinary guesswork? 5. Mahjong Gang, the Electric Man. This man must have been born during a lightning storm because he's immune to electric shocks. Yes, you heard that right. He can touch live wires without getting shocked. Ma discovered his shocking ability quite by accident. One day he touched a live wire expecting to dance the electric jig like anyone else would, but nothing happened. No sparks, no yelps, just Ma, wondering if the laws of physics had gone on vacation. Ma started performing stunts like touching live wires or holding a light bulb in his hand and lighting up like a Christmas tree, all without a single hair standing on end. It's like his body said, "Electricity? Never heard of her." However, scientists tested him, trying to figure out how he does it. Turns out his skin has a higher resistance than the average human, which basically makes him a walking rubber boot. 6. Stephen Wiltshire, the Memory Artist. If you think remembering where you left your keys this morning is a big deal, wait till you hear about Stephen. Give Stephen Wiltshire a helicopter ride over the city, and he'll draw that cityscape with incredible detail from memory, down to the last window and door. It's like he hits the print button in his brain and out comes a cityscape. But Stephen's talent isn't just about drawing pretty pictures. No, it's like his superpower. He was diagnosed with autism at a young age, and while he found communication challenging, he discovered a profound way to connect with the world through his art. Scientists and psychologists have been fascinated by Stephen, trying to understand how his brain works. But to the rest of us, it's simpler and maybe more magical than that. Stephen is a reminder of the incredible potential hidden within the human mind. 7. Dean Karnazes, the Endless Runner. Dean Karnazes can run for days without stopping. Marathons? Just a warm-up for him. Dean's not your average runner. He's the kind of guy who decides to run 50 marathons in 50 states in 50 days. Yeah, you heard that right. It's not a typo. And just when you think he's done, he tops it off by running a marathon to the South Pole. Because why not? Cold feet? Dean's never heard of them. But wait, there's more. Ever heard of the time he ran 350 miles without stopping? That's right. So how does he do it? Well, besides having legs that probably deserve their own superhero comic, Dean's got a body that seems to be built differently. His muscles recover from fatigue faster than you can say, "I need a break." And he's got this uncanny ability to eat while running. 8. Shakuntala Devi, the Human Computer. Shakuntala Devi could calculate faster than you could grab a calculator. While most of us use our fingers to count and still get it wrong, she was solving complex calculations faster than you could say math. By the age of 5, she was showing off her skills, and by adulthood, she was traveling the world, leaving jaws on the floor. But how fast was she? Well, she once multiplied two 13-digit numbers in her head in just 28 seconds. And guess what? She was spot on. People started calling her the human computer because at the time, actual computers were still figuring out how to not take up an entire room. And it just wasn't about speed. Shakuntala had a way of making math fun, turning numbers into a playful dance of the mind. She wrote books, gave talks, and even challenged computers in public showdowns. Spoiler alert, she usually won. 9. Daniel Kish, the Human Bat. Imagine navigating the world in complete darkness, not with a flashlight, but with sound. That's Daniel's everyday life. Blind since he was a baby, he didn't just adapt to his world, he mastered it. Using a technique that sounds like it's straight out of a superhero comic. Daniel uses echolocation to see his surroundings, yes, like a bat. He makes clicking sounds with his mouth and listens to how those sounds bounce back from objects around him. Cars, trees, walls, even the soft outline of a sofa, all revealed by the echoes of his clicks. Daniel's brain has rewired itself to turn sounds into images. Where we see with our eyes, Daniel sees with his ears. He's so good at it, he can ride a bike through traffic. Yes, a bike. Daniel's not just keeping this superpower to himself. He teaches his echolocation techniques to other visually impaired people, showing them that they too can navigate the world more freely. 10. Norman Gary, the Bee Whisperer. Norman Gary can control bees, convincing them to do things like cover his face in a bee beard. Bees listen to him as if he's their king. Norman's story isn't your everyday tale. He's not just a beekeeper, he's a bee whisperer. You might think he's got some secret bee language, buzz, buzz, click, click, and the bees line up for roll call. But no, it's all about understanding and respect. Norman knows bees like the back of his hand, which, by the way, has probably been stung more times than he can count. But that's just part of the buzz of being friends with bees. What makes Norman stand out isn't just his fearlessness, it's his passion for bees. He spent decades studying them, learning their behaviors and teaching others how to appreciate these tiny flying geniuses. If you like these videos so far, leave a like. 11. Jyoti Raj, the Monkey King. Jyoti Raj climbs like it's nothing. He scales walls and cliffs with the ease of a monkey. Watching him, you'd think gravity is just a suggestion. Jyoti Raj's tale began not with a bite from a radioactive animal or a secret experiment gone awry, but with real, heartfelt connection to climbing. He discovered his extraordinary ability to climb after a troubled childhood, finding solace and freedom in the act of scaling walls and cliffs. What makes him special isn't just his climbing skill, it's his self-taught mastery, honed on the challenging terrains of Karnataka, India. This real-life Spider-Man doesn't need fancy gadgets or special effects to dazzle. Armed with nothing but his incredible grip strength, agility, and a deep understanding of the rock face before him, Jyoti Raj defies gravity. He's also a hero in more ways than one, using his climbing abilities for rescue missions, saving people trapped in dangerous, inaccessible places. 12. David Browning Smith, the Rubber Boy. Enter David Browning Smith, a man so flexible he makes rubber bands look stiff. Known far and wide as the Rubber Boy, David doesn't just bend the rules, he bends himself into shapes that'll make your eyes pop and your spine tingle. From a young age, David discovered he was different. While most of us were figuring out how to do a somersault without dizzying ourselves, he was twisting his body into knots, turning his legs around and doing back bends that looked like human pretzels. It wasn't long before he realized that his incredible flexibility wasn't just for showing off at parties, it was his superhero. But what's his secret? Is he part alien? Did he get bit by a radioactive contortionist? No, David was born with an extraordinary condition that makes his ligaments as flexible as elastic bands. But don't think it was all easy. David took his natural gift and honed it, trained his body and pushed his limits to become the world's most flexible man. 13. Ngak Tai, the Sleepless Wonder. Imagine a world where you never have to sleep. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, meet Ngak Tai, the man who turned this fantasy into reality. But instead of binge-watching TV series, he's been living life wide awake for decades. That's right, while we're all cozy in our beds, Ngak is up and at 'em 24/7. One day after a fever, Ngak just stopped feeling sleepy. At first, it sounds like he hit the jackpot. Think of all the extra time for hobbies, work, or learning to play the guitar backward. But as Ngak discovered, there's a downside to his endless days. What's the science behind Ngak's endless energy? Doctors are puzzled. Some say his body is adapted to recharge without the deep sleep we all crave. Others think it's a rare condition, a kind of superpower that's 1 in a million. So next time you're groaning at the sound of your alarm clock, spare a thought for Ngak Tai, the man who never sleeps. 14. Veronica Sider, the woman with eagle eyes. Now let's zoom in on Veronica Sider, a woman with eyesight so sharp she could spot an ant doing a moonwalk on the moon. Okay, maybe not that sharp, but you get the picture. Veronica isn't your average human. She can see the smallest details from miles away. Veronica's superpower was discovered while she was at the university, where they found out she could see 20 times better than the average person. But how does she do it? Well, scientists think it's all in the cones, the parts of our eyes that are responsible for seeing color and fine detail. Veronica's cones are like a packed stadium, giving her the ability to catch details that would slip by the rest of us unnoticed. 15. Muhammad Ali, the Chameleon Man. Step into the colorful world of Muhammad Ali. No, not the boxer, but a man whose eyes change color based on his clothes. Blue shirt, blue eyes. Green jacket, green eyes. It's like he has a personal rainbow for eyes, changing hues with his wardrobe. Now, before you think Muhammad has a closet full of colorful contact lenses, let me stop you right there. This isn't about tricks or illusions. It's something much more magical. Muhammad's eye color changes naturally. Scientists and doctors are scratching their heads trying to figure it out. It could be a unique form of synesthesia, where one sense triggers another, or maybe his body just is really committed to coordinating his outfits. Whatever the reason, Muhammad's eyes are like mood lights, adding an extra splash of color to his day. And there you have it. Until next time, keep marveling at the wonders walking among us.